got another rock in my shoe. Can you get it out? I know. I know, I'm sorry. Make it painless. I can't walk around with a rock in my shoe. Thank you. See, you gave up too early. My mama didn't raise no quitter. So nice out here, isn't it? Hi guys. So who's walking who here, guys? We need to slow you two down. Maggie, how was your day?
Good.
Megan's wearing her boba. We just bring the boba in case Payson decides that the stroller is not good enough for her and she wants some more close ma to pay action with the boba. Hey guys, you're slowing traffic here. Come on. Hey, sacrifice to win. Come on, guys. Junction Joe here, and I wanted to take a moment during our family walk to kind of talk about something that's kind of been burning through my mind, and the topic is basically marriage. I've been seeing so many percentages high of divorce rates, and so many people talking about how they're not getting along with their partner, and I see a lot of things that are missing a one foundation, and I'm sure you'll probably understand where I'm coming from it, whether you believe me or not, or whether you agree with me on my opinion. I kind of wanted to share my opinion with you and some advice that I would give out if someone was looking for a new partner, someone single out there, whether it be male or female, looking for a male or female. And it's one big point, just one big point I wanted to kind of get across, and that is, to me, I believe to start that good foundation, that good solid foundation, is to find a godly man or a godly woman in your search. Find someone that is obedient to God, because if they're obedient to God in the Word, they are going to be in the Word, therefore they are going to be obedient to you as a spouse in the future, and for the rest of your lifetime and the lifetime beyond where we're at now. And, ooh, a little extra protein today. Now, where I wanted to go with this basically was, and the way I thought about this is, I meet people a lot that were whether it's the man or the woman gets together, one of them believes in God and the other one doesn't really believe in God or have a religion or go to church or anything else like that, and they never resolve that. And because they never resolve that, we end up with an unstable part of their relationship. There's no firm foundation that they both believe on as a lifestyle. And where I'm going with that is, going back in history with me and Megan, we met at 17 years old. And when we met, I was, 17 years into my Catholicism, and so I was in the Catholic Church. She's getting upset. Okay, where was I? I was talking about the relationship that I had with Megan and I. I was a Catholic Christian. I was in Catholicism when I met her, 17 years into it, and she was a non-denominational Christian. Now, what I'm going to talk about, I'm sure you're probably waiting for it. Oh, he doesn't like the Catholic religion and things like that, but don't worry, I'm not going on a Catholic bashing spree. I actually don't, mind the Catholic religion. I want everybody to hear the Word for what it is and believe what they want to pull out of what the book says. Kumar's getting tangled up over there. How'd you get tangled up, bud? Okay. Still rolling? Okay. So, anyways, like I said, not a Catholic bash thing. The reason I say that is just because I did leave the Catholic Church. But what ended up happening was, Megan and I had met. and I was Catholic, she was non-denominational Christian, and we had this conversation early in our relationship. And I know it's kind of an odd conversation, but it was just something that we were just kind of nonchalantly talking about, which was, if we did have a family in the future, how would we raise our children? And with me being Catholic and her non-denominational and not being Catholic, it was a very awkward situation on which one we choose. And Megan, because she's always willing to compensate in so many ways, she already jumped at the opportunity to say, hey, I guess I'll try the Catholic Church with you. And I would take her to the Catholic Church, and I can not only see the confusion on her face on the reasons we did some of the things we did, but I was kind of starting to just get to this point where, for myself, I didn't want to be under any more of the church rules, in an essence, or be into the church. So I decided that I was going to try out going to non-denominational churches with her, which for me, that I found a foundation of just really reading the Word and studying the Word, which is the reason why I do studies, because I really enjoy going to these men's studies and getting the knowledge and the information, the history that we have in that. So where we went from that is we both ended up going to a non-denominational church here that was called Church on the Rock. It's still called that. We don't go there anymore, but it's still called that. It's still an awesome church. But we ended up being able to have a foundation where we both believed in the same thing, so we can raise our child in that in the future, which is the opportunity we'll be able to give to Payson. So where I was at was I was basically talking about the fact that me and Megan, at an early part of our relationship, established a good foundation. By the way, if you hear any whimpers in the background, that is not the dogs, that is Payson and the boba. So basically what I was talking about was me and Megan were able to find a firm foundation to kind of help us along the way. And I'm not saying that our marriage is perfect or anything like that, but what's helped us is basically we've had the opportunity to go the last 10.5 years to use God. I don't even want to say the word use, but I'm thinking of it as a tool as much as it is a truth. Having God as our marriage counselor in a way. Because when we do have the times of trouble or times that we're confused about things, we've been able to have God put a basis for us to come back together on. There's always scripture, or there's always meaning out there that leads us back together and leads us to help and support each other. So to make it simple, before I get to the last point, I wanted to mention that we went to Megan and I, before Payson was born about a month ago or so, we went to a sacred parenting conference that was held by the author Gary Thomas, and he wrote the book on sacred parenting, but he also wrote a book on the sacred search. Is that what it is, Megan? Sacred search?
Yeah.
And it basically is for the singles out there searching for someone, and he kind of touched on that same subject, but what he talked about was, as a pastor, there are relationships that people have confronted him about that they asked about his opinion on, and he had to give them the opinion on them having to end where they were before they even began, essentially. New relationships where he could tell that it just wasn't going to work. And for me, a part of that I took from that was because in some of these relationships, one of them was seeking God and the other one was pulling that one person away from that. And not necessarily by saying you can't go or believe in God, but more or less along the lines of, well, I don't really believe in that type of stuff. And there's no support there for that other person. And I'm very excited about and very happy about the fact that Megan supports me as I support her. And I'm glad to have her in my life. I'm glad to have Payson in my life and the dogs in my life. And we're 10.5 years strong with it. And I do just believe that because we both have the same beliefs in our relationships, that this foundation works. And so men, women out there that are single, that are looking for somebody, in that sacred search, I highly suggest you find somebody that is a God-fearing person, because they will be obedient to you and they will be there for you. Thanks, guys. Because if they figure it out enough, they can actually both one can walk around. But anyways, did she drop it again? Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes it feels like I'm watching from the outside. Sometimes it feels like I'm breathing breathing, but am I alive?